So what does the debt standoff in Washington mean for Australia? The question was answered today by the Reserve Bank Governor in a speech. He says it's yet another dampener on already fragile consumer confidence. But Glenn Stevens also says consumer caution will be a good thing in the long run. And the Prime Minister is telling Australians to have faith in the country's economic future. Political correspondent Tommy Gooden has more from Canberra.
A blushing Prime Minister hosts Tony Blair in her hometown.
I'm a bit out of practice with Prime Minister press conferences, but anyway.
He told her to take heart from his own experience when it comes to the carbon tax.
I was there when we created the European emissions trading system. These things are always tough to begin with. The question is what's the right position to have for the future?
But Tony Abbott says the carbon tax is a load of bull, and so's the Prime Minister's campaign to sell it.
If you're fair income about wearing out your shoe leather, you won't just walk down to the National Press Club, you won't just go down to Melbourne to talk with Tony Blair, you'll actually be out in regional Australia.
The opposition leader's continuing to trot out his lines across the country.
Because the cattle industry has been doing it so tough for so long, the last thing they need now is a carbon tax, which will just put their costs up and up.
That sort of talk could be frightening the horses.
OK, let's move on.
According to the Reserve Bank Governor.
There's an evident sense of caution among households and businesses, which I would say seems to have become more intense. Increasingly bitter political debates over various issues are also said by some to have played a role in affecting confidence. Then we have the global outlook, which looks darker.
Despite the darkness, the Governor says consumer caution is a good thing. The debt-fuelled spending binge of the decade before the global financial crisis couldn't be sustained anyway, he says, and now's as good a time as any to be gathering the acorns in case those predictions of a global economic winter come to fruition.
We're actually building resilience into the balance sheets of our households pretty smartly right now, and I think that's a thing which will stand us in good stead, particularly if there are troubled times at some point in the future.
Tony Blair says more economic pain in Europe and Washington will be necessary.
If we want the situation to be stable in the future, we've got to sort some of these long-term problems out. The financial crisis may have accelerated the need for change, made it more urgent, but the need for change is there and has happened really as a result of things that have been building up over a long period of time.
Julie Gillard says economic restructuring in Australia won't be as painful and is urging voters to keep the faith.
But the underlying fundamentals of our economy are strong, big pipeline of investment, strong economic growth to look forward to, and as we go about the job of pricing carbon, a clean energy future to look forward to as well.
Are you not due to return to fiscal balance in, was it 2013 or something?
Yeah, 12-13.
We'd be pretty happy to be in that situation back in Europe at the moment or in the US.
A perfect end to a perfect political date. Tom Miggleton, Late Line.